السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. ما شاء الله. Are we are good. Okay. Everybody's doing okay? Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, we're good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah. So far, so good. MashaAllah. Brother Yaqub is doing well. Good. Good. Alhamdulillah. It's good to see names that I can recognize.
MashaAllah. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
طيب. So, are we live on YouTube? Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect. Can we keep the first few minutes to ourselves a little bit? First few minutes.
Sure. From tomorrow, inshallah.
Inshallah. So tonight the sunset it's at 7:43 in Sharon. So in Sharon is 7:43. So inshallah we'll do some reading and inshallah some reminders till 7:15, and then inshallah by 7:15 we'll do our adhkar. We will start with Surah Waqi'ah inshallah, and then we'll conclude with a collective dua for the community. Tonight is Thursday and Friday night, Laylatul Jum'ah. It's a very special night. So inshallah, this will conclude our 7th day, 1 week of Ramadan. Ya Rab, time just flies, passes by. So inshallah, we'll get right to our reading. So inshallah, tonight or this evening, I want to go over 2 chapters that are kind of related. The first one is very short, and then inshallah, the second chapter that I wanted to talk about, which is very relevant to our time, it's called the displeasure with the divine decree. It's one of the diseases of the heart that is mentioned on page 58. And the poem of Imam al-Mawlud's poem goes from verses 106 to 107, and it continues all the way. Yes, yeah, that's where it ends, just two lines. So it's a matter of subject of importance, and inshallah, hopefully that we could take some lessons for today's situation and environment. So inshallah we'll begin. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wa sallallahu wa sallam wa baraka ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallim tasliman kathira. ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to enlighten us with His knowledge, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us the ability to seek beneficial knowledge, and He gives us the ability to act upon the knowledge that He has given us. Ameen, Ya Rabbil Alameen. The first part is the definition of relying on other than God, which is called, which is the opposite of shukr, of being thankful and showing gratitude, which is kufr. So kufr is the opposite of shukr, and kufr is also it's kind of being unthankful and ungrateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and therefore someone would rely on other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's a disease of the heart. So other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what does that mean? What does that mean to desire other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Normally we have desires, we wish for other things, we want other things, we have love of other things. The priority of our lives should be evolving around the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. as that's the ultimate goal of anything that we do, every action that we do. So that's the ultimate goal for every action, whether it's kind of, as we kind of say, dunyawi action or dini action. However, everything could be your dunya or your deen. If someone is praying just because he has to pray and he's forced to pray, that's his dunya. And someone who's actually walking and exercising because the person wants to have good health, that becomes his deen. So everything that a person does, the ultimate goal, the ultimate destination is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's pleasure. And that should be Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Of course, in certain things you have um, spontaneous benefits that you wish to gain. For example, when you, especially when it comes to things that are indirect ibadat. So there are two types of ibadat that we normally do. One are the ibadat that they are intended to be an act of worship, just like your daily prayers, your salah daily, the 5 daily prayers, your fasting. These are intended acts of worship. And then there is the indirect ibadat, which are not intended to be an act of worship, but you, by your intention, can turn that into an act of worship. Just like, mashallah, doctors out there, if they are going to work every day, especially in this situation, where the nurses, even the person who's working at the hospital, um, spraying, disinfecting the hallways of a hospital. All those people, if their intention is to serve humanity, and because I'm giving my time and I've also given my whole career to this particular profession, I'm gaining something of the worldly benefits, that's okay. But that could be an act of worship, as the person who's spraying the hallways. That person is an act of worship, that if that person intends the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You call your family member, is on Zoom, you call them up and you speak to them over Zoom. You're doing it for silatul rahm, to have your relationship well with and good and healthy with your relatives, especially those who are close to you. And that's why I bring up this thing almost every time. Having your relationship stronger and better your relationship and make it healthier, especially in these days, which is very, very important. You're doing that for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that becomes your deen. It's dunya in apparent. From the outward, it looks like it's dunya, but inwardly, it's your akhirah, it's your deen. So the definition of that. So that's so tawakkul on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yaqeen, reliance on Allah, and kind of conviction on God, certainty. All these things are helpful, and they are indicating that you doing things for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is a personal thing that a person should be always worried about, and that's why there's a shirk, an association of God, partners with God, in terms of intention when you're doing things for other than God. It's a very, very, subtle disease of the heart, and inshallah we'll talk about that when we get to the other topics like riya and so on and so forth. So moving forward, inshallah, we'll go to the next chapter, displeasure with divine decree. So displeasure with the divine decree, this is something that it's so common and it's so prevalent. A lot of people talk about it. You hear these sentences, you hear these comments that people say, that why this thing had to happen to me, why this thing, why did I lose my job, why me, why not others, well, I didn't deserve to be in this situation. I didn't deserve to lose my job. I didn't deserve to get sick or to lose a family member. That person didn't deserve to get that, to be sick or to be- befall in of that circumstance or that situation. So this is something that normally we hear a lot of times. We hear and we hear people saying that um, that's showing displeasure with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's decree. Is that showing displeasure with Allah's decree? You hear this from also, if you look at the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he was sent to Taif. Um, it was a divine inspiration by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to go to Taif, and he went to Taif. He wanted to explore different places, and he went up to Taif. The clans of Thaqif and others, they stoned him, hurt him. And as the Prophet ﷺ describes his trip to Taif and the things that occurred in that journey in particular, was one of the most severe and the most difficult experiences that he had in calling to God and in fulfilling his responsibility as a prophet. And when he came back, as he came down and things settled, he was bleeding and all that. Um, he made a supplication and he said, "Ilayka ashku," that I am complaining to you, وضعف قوتي وقلة حيلتي وهواني على الناس إلى من تكلني. And that story of Ta'if and what happened in this dua in particular, as the Prophet ﷺ, there is no such dua in the Prophet ﷺ's entire supplication and collection of that of that nature and that powerful. And that's the words that the Prophet ﷺ used in that. And he's saying towards the end that I complain to you, O God, of the lack of my strategy and the belittling of myself and the disgrace that I have in front of people. And he goes on, and ila man takiluni, to whom you have given my affairs to. And so on and so forth, and all the way till the end. He says that, um, you know, are you giving me to an enemy that would just overcome me and take over my affairs? So he's kind of like complaining. So where do we put that? So a very good example or a very good parable to make sense of this whole situation of complaining and arguing and feeling displeasure with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's decree, is that supposedly someone had to go to the doctor and they had to do a procedure. They broke the bone, or perhaps maybe had to take their kidney out. And then this person, he goes there, the kidney part, because I have witnessed, someone very close, the whole procedure of a kidney operation. Very, very painful, very painful. So this person, after he, the doctor does the whole procedure, and now he's person after he comes back into conscious, he just starts to complain, scolding, and cursing the doctor that, woe unto you, you cut me up, and you did all this to me, and now I'm suffering here. Look what I'm going through. you know so that's one way of this person kind of showing, or kind of venting out in this situation, or in this pain, or in this difficulty that this person is going through. Um, now, that's one way of complaining. And on the other side, this person, he is in pain and he is saying that, oh man, the doctor did a really great job that, through the operation, everything, the anesthesia was perfect, everything was perfect. And it seems to be, working, my kidney's functioning now, perhaps, or even if you had to replace the kidney, I've also witnessed that. There's all this pain, but I think he has done a great job, and I've heard it so much. I think I'm going to be better. The doctor has promised me, and he had spoken to me after I came back into consciousness. That's one way of explaining or kind of venting your frustration. So now the doctor, perhaps if he had heard both of these conversations, what he would be his response, that doctor's response. The doctor's response to the first one would be, what an unthankful patient. That's why I told you not to take these kind of patients. As for the other person, this doctor would say, I think maybe I've pushed it too much. Maybe I should have maybe kept him a little more, done something different to, he feels that, feels compassionate for that patient, for that second person. For the first person, he just wants to chuck him away. Wants him out of, like, even every time he goes to check, how is he doing, he would say, oh man, just get well soon. Okay. And as for the second one, out of compassion, out of, mercy, and out of, feeling for this patient, he would say, I hope that you feel better. It's a difference between both of them. So that's how complaining to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah loves when you complain to him, but not in an unthankful and showing your showing you're not thankful to Allah. You would never see that person who just had an operation of his kidney. You say, Alhamdulillah, I'm feeling so good. But I'm feeling so good. When you are in pain, when you are in difficulty, you do complain. It's natural. So when you get sick or when you lose your job, when someone dies in a family, you don't feel happy about it. You don't say, Alhamdulillah, this is so great. God did it. I'm okay with that. The Prophet ﷺ cried. He complained in Taif. He spoke to God and said that I'm complaining to you. Especially like when someone is so close and dear to you, they want to vent out. That's why we have this term venting, is that this person is just trying to get it out. And this person knows that you are a good listener and you are a good counselor, or you are a good partner, or someone that is close that I can, put forward my situation. So that's not called complaining. Like that, when you complain to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's not an actually complaint. It is kind of a complaint because that's a word that the Prophet ﷺ used, ashku, but it's not being displeased with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And therefore, this brings us to a very important key element of our aqeedah, of our faith, which is that one of our fundamentals of our faith is that tu'mina iman bil qadr, as they say, qada and qadar. Qada, it's something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decreed, and qadr is the measurement, is the amount of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has decreed. So we believe in qada, and we should be content with qada and qadar. Uh, because the qadr, what Allah is going to decree, it's going to be either good or bad. It's going to be something nice or it's going to be something evil. And that's why we believe in it. We believe, and that's why the belief is to believe in Allah is the creator of khair and shar. Allah created the khair and He created the shar. It's not that we as Muslims, we don't believe that Allah is all good and He just creates and He created good and the evil is from the devil. And no, He is the creator of the evil as well. And there's a reason why He creates the good, and there's a reason why He creates evil. Just like there's a very strong reasoning that we know about, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He created good, that there's why He creates that. And when He creates evil, why He created that. Why did He create the devil? Why did He create Iblis? Why He gave us the ability for me to do something that is wrong, that is sinful. Why there's killing going on. That's what tells us that that's the qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That He is the one who gave the ability for that to happen. There is a wisdom behind that. There is a reason behind that. We don't know. We don't have all the answers, right? Just like when we were kids and our parents told us not to do certain things or made us do certain things, at that time it didn't make sense. And then when you grow up and now you become a father and you said, oh yeah, that makes sense. Now that was right. That was right what my father used to say, or my mother used to tell me to do certain things. You have those good memories. Makes sense. So perhaps maybe we would never know why this COVID-19 happened. We don't know. There's a lot of positives that is coming out. Of course, there's a lot of negative, but that's what we believe in. Al-qadri khayri wa shari min Allah. It's from Allah. He is the creator. It is from God. Can I be displeased with that? No. Can I complain? Yes. I can't complain about the situation. I complain to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I can complain of the difficulty or pain, just like that sick person who is complaining when he comes back to conscious, when he's talking to his friends or he's talking to his mom or his father, or family member, spouse, and he's telling how painful is it, and he's stuck over, I want to go home, I'm so sick and tired of this place. But he's just complaining of the situation. But he's not saying that. He's not cursing the doctor. He's not saying foul language about the doctor, that why he put me into that. It was all his fault. He gave me the wrong medication in the first place. He's not saying that. That would be unthankful. That would be showing displeasure when the person says, I knew from the beginning that there was a problem with this doctor. You gave me this wrong medications, wrong. I should have taken a second opinion about this whole thing, right? That's why one of the things that the Prophet ﷺ said, that Inna law taftahu amal shaitan, that's saying if, but these things, they open a door of shaitan. What if, I did something different? Yeah, of course, to have an experiment of something and say that, well, next time I won't do this, because if I did such and such, if I took care of my health, I wouldn't have been sick now. But you have to look forward. Someone who got in trouble because they went somewhere, I wish that they didn't go. Or the person who got in trouble, I wish that I didn't go there. It was already written for you. Allah made you go there. for that to happen to you. So Abbas radiallahu anhu, Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, you know, one of his things that he says that is so kind of uplifting, giving hope, is that a person, when a person is afflicted with some difficulties or a difficulty, a person should always think that perhaps maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has protected me. Otherwise, He could have put me even in a more difficult situation, right? You're having enough to have food, but you don't have luxury to have, you know, to go dining in a 5-star hotel or in a 5-star cuisine or a restaurant. Or right now, the most you could go for just a takeout, right? So alhamdulillah, right? I don't have that, but at least I have this. So I'm in a difficult situation. I could have been afflicted with a bigger difficulty. And that's why one of our belief is that we believe al-qadri khayrihi wa sharrihi min Allah. These both are from Allah, and we are pleased with that. For a temporary pain and difficulty that I might go through, I could be complaining and I could be making, you know, noises about it. That's fine. One of the very interesting things that he mentions here that I would like to mention and then close with that is that people are in 4 situations. Everyone, every human being, all of us are in one of these 4 situations. Either a person is receiving blessings, he's in ni'mah, so he's mun'am, right? Person who is a in ni'mah, he's mun'am. And or that person is in what? He is in baliya. He's in difficulty. He's in a trial. He's in pain, right? So that's mubtala. So mun'am and mubtala. From ibtila, from bala. Bala, it means to test. Test, and now test, it also could be bala. A lot of people think bala is for difficulty. No, bala is also used for good as well. وَبَلَوْنَهُمْ بِالْحَسَنَاتِ وَالسَّيِّئَاتِ, right? بَلَوْنَهُم. So, but normally ibtila or bala is used for a calamity. So either a person is in difficulty, so he's mubtala. Now, the third is either the person is in obedience, right? He's in a state of ubudiyah. He is a abid, right? In a state of ubudiyah. Right? So, so he's called muti'a. He's in ta'a. He's in ta'a. He is in ta'a. So he's a muti'a. Right? We heard this word ata Allah wa rasulah. And the fourth, either that person will be in ma'asiyah. He would be in sinning. So he is a instead of muti'a, he's a aasi. He's a what? Aasi. So from isyan, from sin. Isyan is sin. So either a person, he is in ni'mah, he's in a good state, or he's in a difficult situation. Or either he's in ta'ah, or he is in ma'asiyah, in sin. He's in obedience or in sin. So either a person is in ni'mah, he's in good times or difficult times. He is in obedience, or he is in disobedience, ma'asiyah. Now, each one of them has a when a person is in, you know, the outcome of it. When a person is in ni'mah, when a person is given good, then the outcome of it is what? Is shukr. And when a person is in ibtila, is in bala, is in difficulty, that takes a person to sabr. Although there's also some other meanings to this word sabr, right? You know, sabr on doing sometimes good things, right? So when a person is in a state of in'am, a state of of good and prosperity, and a person wants to thank God by praying 2 rak'ats, perhaps maybe he has to give up something while praying those 2 rak'ats, which requires him sabr. So they kind of work hand in hand. So with in'am, you have to do shukr, and with ibtila, you have to do sabr. And with ta'ah, obedience is by uh, doing at least the bare minimum, the fara'id, the obligations, and then the wajibat and the sunan and all the other less important acts of worship. So that's how you are in a state of ibadah. So if for obedience, you do ta'ah, you do ubudiyah, you do ibadah, you do worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then the fourth state is in a state of isyan, a state of sinning, of doing bad deeds. The easy way is tawbah. So in an'am, you have shukr, and when you have ibtila, when you have bala, when you have trials and tribulations, you have sabr, patience. And then if you are in a state of ta'ah, a state of obedience, you are in ibadah. And then if you are doing sin, if you are sinning, then you are in a state of ta'ah. SubhanAllah. Ya Rabbi Ya Kareem. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us to be pleased with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's divine decree. If a person is in a state of ghafla, a person can never be thankful. He cannot go to those from those 4 states. You cannot go to those other 4 states. You cannot bring out the outcome of those 4 states if a person is in a state of ghafla. So it's very important. So the main remedy or the main way to be pleased with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is to be in a state of yaqdah, of awakeness, of being content with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I know it's already 7:19, inshallah. We'd like to start with the Adhkar. If a person wants to be pleased with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one of the things to be happy with what Allah has given you and to get an abundance of that is to many things that you could do. One of them is to recite Surah Waqi'ah, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you rizq. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us a rizq in not just in form of money or job, but also in terms of family, in terms of health, in terms of well-being. All that is rizq. And for all of those purposes, Surah Waqi'ah is very effective to recite. So inshallah, we will recite Surah Waqi'ah as a group, inshallah. And inshallah, please join me. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إذا وقعت الواقعة ليس لوقعتها كاذبة خافضة رافعة إذا رجت الأرض رجا وبست الجبال بسا كانت هباء منبثا وكنتم أزواجا ثلاثة فأصحاب الميمنة ما أصحاب الميمنة وأصحاب المشأمة ما أصحاب المشأمة والسابقون السابقون أولئك المقربون في جنات النعيم ثلة من الأولين وقليل من الآخرين على سرر موضونة متكئين عليها متقابلين يطوف عليهم ولدان مخلدون بأكواب وأباريق وكأس من معين لا يصدعون عنها ولا ينزفون وفاكهة مما يتخيرون ولحم طير مما يشتهون وحور عين كأمثال اللؤلؤ المكنون جزاء بما كانوا يعملون لا يسمعون فيها لغوا ولا تأثيما إلا قيلا سلاما سلاما. وأصحاب اليمين ما أصحاب اليمين في سدر مخضود وطلح منضود وظل ممدود وماء مسكوب وفاكهة كثيرة لا مقطوعة ولا ممنوعة وفرش مرفوعة. إنا أنشأناهن إنشاء فجعلناهن أبكارا عربا أترابا لأصحاب اليمين ثلة من الأولين وثلة من الآخرين. وأصحاب الشمال ما أصحاب الشمال في سموم وحميم وظل من يحموم لا بارد ولا كريم. إنهم كانوا قبل ذلك مترفين وكانوا يصرون على الحنث العظيم وكانوا يقولون أئذا متنا وكنا ترابا وعظاما أئنا لمبعوثون أو آباؤنا الأولون. قل إن الأولين والآخرين لمجموعون إلى ميقات يوم معلوم. ثم إنكم أيها الضالون المكذبون لآكلون من شجر من زقوم فمالئون منها البطون فشاربون عليه من الحميم فشاربون شرب الهيم هذا نزلهم يوم الدين. نحن خلقناكم فلولا تصدقون. أفرأيتم ما تمنون أأنتم تخلقونه أم نحن الخالقون. نحن قدرنا بينكم الموت وما نحن بمسبوقين على أن نبدل أمثالكم وننشئكم فيما لا تعلمون. ولقد علمتم النشأة الأولى فلولا تذكرون. أفرأيتم ما تحرثون أأنتم تزرعونه أم نحن الزارعون. لو نشاء لجعلناه حطاما فظلتم تفكهون. إنا لمغرمون بل نحن محرومون. أفرأيتم الماء الذي تشربون أأنتم أنزلتموه من المزن أم نحن المنزلون. لو نشاء جعلناه أجاجا فلولا تشكرون. أفرأيتم النار التي تورون أأنتم أنشأتم شجرتها أم نحن المنشئون. نحن جعلناها تذكرة ومتاعا للمقوين فسبح باسم ربك العظيم. فلا أقسم بمواقع النجوم وإنه لقسم لو تعلمون عظيم. إنه لقرآن كريم في كتاب مكنون لا يمسه إلا المطهرون تنزيل من رب العالمين. أفبهذا الحديث أنتم مدهنون وتجعلون رزقكم أنكم تكذبون. فلولا إذا بلغت الحلقوم وأنتم حينئذ تنظرون ونحن أقرب إليه منكم ولكن لا تبصرون. فلولا إن كنتم غير مدينين ترجعونها إن كنتم صادقين. فأما إن كان من المقربين فروح وريحان وجنة نعيم. وأما إن كان من أصحاب اليمين فسلام لك من أصحاب اليمين. وأما إن كان من المكذبين الضالين فنزل من حميم وتصلية جحيم. إن هذا لهو حق اليقين فسبح باسم ربك العظيم. سبحان الله وبحمده سبحان الله العظيم. One of the du'as of the Prophet ﷺ is the one that is right in the middle. أغننا بفضلك عمن سواك. So that's oh Allah, أغننا بفضلك عمن سواك. That oh Allah, don't make us, in need of anyone other than you. So our reliance is only on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and make us free us from being relying on other people and other things. We only want to rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So sustenance is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but from the worldly asbab, from the worldly means, we do have to rely on other things, and we do have to rely on other people. And that's how the whole system goes. But ultimately, our reliance is on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I want to be content with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's fadl, Allah's giving. Inshallah, Brother Muzaffar will do the Wird al-Latif. Inshallah, I wanted to say a few things about the salawat when we get to there. We say the salawat 10 times. Inshallah, once we get there, before we say the salawat, I will say a few words, inshallah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس رب أعوذ بك من همزات الشياطين وأعوذ بك رب أن يحضرون رب أعوذ بك من همزات الشياطين وأعوذ بك رب أن يحضرون رب أعوذ بك من همزات الشياطين وأعوذ بك رب أن يحضرون أفحسبتم أنما خلقناكم عبثا وأنكم إلينا لا ترجعون فتعالى الله الملك الحق لا إله إلا هو رب العرش الكريم ومن يدعو مع الله إلها آخر لا برهان له به فإنما حسابه عند ربه إنه لا يفلح الكافرون وقل رب اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين فسبحان الله حين تمسون وحين تصبحون وله الحمد في السماوات والأرض وعشيا وحين تظهرون يخرج الحي من الميت ويخرج الميت من الحي ويحيي الأرض بعد موتها وكذلك تخرجون أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل لرأيته خاشعا متصدعا من خشية الله. وتلك الأمثال نضربها للناس لعلهم يتفكرون. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الرحمن الرحيم. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر سبحان الله عما يشركون. هو الله الخالق البارئ المصور له الأسماء الحسنى يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم. سلام على نوح في العالمين إنا كذلك نجزي المحسنين إنه من عبادنا المؤمنين. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم. اللهم إني أمسيت منك في نعمة وعافية وستر فأتمم نعمتك علي وعافيتك وسترك في الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم إني أمسيت منك في نعمة وعافية وستر فأتمم نعمتك علي وعافيتك وسترك في الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم إني أمسيت منك في نعمة وعافية وستر فأتمم نعمتك علي وعافيتك وسترك في الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم إني أمسيت أشهدك وأشهد عملة عرشك وملائكتك وجميع خلقك أنك أنت الله لا إله إلا أنت وحدك لا شريك لك وأن سيدنا محمدا عبدك ورسولك. اللهم إني أمسيت أشهدك وأشهد عملة عرشك وملائكتك وجميع خلقك أنك أنت الله لا إله إلا أنت وحدك لا شريك لك وأن سيدنا محمدا عبدك ورسولك. اللهم إني أمسيت أشهدك وأشهد عملة عرشك وملائكتك وجميع خلقك أنك أنت الله لا إله إلا أنت وحدك لا شريك لك وأن سيدنا محمدا عبدك ورسولك. اللهم إني أمسيت أشهدك وأشهد عملة عرشك وملائكتك وجميع خلقك أنك أنت الله لا إله إلا أنت وحدك لا شريك لك وأن سيدنا محمدا عبدك ورسولك. الحمد لله رب العالمين حمدا يوافي نعمه ويكافئ مزيده. الحمد لله رب العالمين حمدا يوافي نعمه ويكافئ مزيده. الحمد لله رب العالمين حمدا يوافي نعمه ويكافئ مزيده. آمنت بالله العظيم وكفرت بالجبت والطاغوت واستمسكت بالعروة الوثقى لا انفصام لها والله سميع عليم. آمنت بالله العظيم وكفرت بالجبت والطاغوت واستمسكت بالعروة الوثقى لا انفصام لها والله سميع عليم. آمنت بالله العظيم وكفرت بالجبت والطاغوت واستمسكت بالعروة الوثقى لا انفصام لها والله سميع عليم. رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبسيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم نبيا ورسولا. رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبسيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم نبيا ورسولا. رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبسيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم نبيا ورسولا. حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو عليه توكلت وهو رب العرش العظيم. حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو عليه توكلت وهو رب العرش العظيم. حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو عليه توكلت وهو رب العرش العظيم. حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو عليه توكلت وهو رب العرش العظيم. حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو عليه توكلت وهو رب العرش العظيم حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو عليه توكلت وهو رب العرش العظيم.
The salawat on our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is one of the greatest means of gaining and attaining the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and also seeking the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Your prayers cannot be answered without sending salawat and blessings and salutations upon the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And why I wanted to talk about this evening is that because as Maghrib will start, inshallah, that will be Laylat al-Jum'ah, the Friday night, in our terms, because the night, evening, the day, 24 hours starts from Maghrib. That's why Ramadan started from Maghrib. So this is the time to say a salawat on the Prophet ﷺ in abundance, especially on Fridays. So it starts from Maghrib all the way until the next day, Maghrib. Sending salawat on the Prophet ﷺ. For each salawat that we say on the Prophet ﷺ, Allah sends down 10 blessings upon us and forgives 10 sins and raises us 10 elevations. The Prophet ﷺ receives these as a gift from us when we say Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. In this place in particular, we have 10 times. Why this number 10? Now, keep in mind that, and this is kind of my continuation of explaining these adhkar, and we did all the way up to Hasbi Allah until we just read. The next was salawat on the Prophet ﷺ. So you would see that here it's 10 times, and a lot of them have like 3 to 7, 4. Each one of them, each number has a significant effect to it. So the Prophet ﷺ said that whoever says 10 times salat upon me, I will intercede for him to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on his behalf on a day of judgment. So the Prophet ﷺ will do shafa'ah. Shafa'ah, it's a special term that we use for intercession, as the Prophet ﷺ will intercede to Allah on our behalf. So if you say just saying it 10 times would inshallah have that effect, but try to do as much as possible, especially on the next 24 hours inshallah. So we will continue by saying 10 times this, and we'll finish the inshallah the adhkar. Brother Muzaffar, you want to continue?
اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم. 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 اللهم إني أسألك من فجاءة الخير وأعوذ بك من فجاءة الشر. اللهم أنت ربي لا إله إلا أنت خلقتني وأنا عبدك وأنا على عهدك ووعدك ما استطعت. أعوذ بك من شر ما صنعت. أبوء لك بنعمتك علي وأبوء بذنبي فاغفر لي فإنه لا يغفر الذنوب إلا أنت. اللهم أنت ربي لا إله إلا أنت عليك توكلت وأنت رب العرش العظيم. ما شاء الله كان وما لم يشأ لم يكن ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. أعلم أن الله على كل شيء قدير وأن الله قد أحاط بكل شيء علما. اللهم إني أعوذ بك من شر نفسي ومن شر كل دابة أنت آخذ بناصيتها. إن ربي على صراط مستقيم. يا حي يا قيوم برحمتك أستغيث ومن عذابك أستجير أصلح لي شأني كله ولا تكلني إلى نفسي ولا إلى أحد من خلقك طرفة عين. اللهم إني أعوذ بك من الهم والحزن وأعوذ بك من العجز والكسل وأعوذ بك من الجبن والبخل وأعوذ بك من غلبة الدين وقهر الرجال. اللهم إني أسألك العافية في الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم إني أسألك العفو والعافية والمعافاة الدائمة في ديني ودنياي وأهلي ومالي. اللهم استر عوراتي وآمن روعاتي. اللهم احفظني من بين يدي ومن خلفي وعن يميني وعن شمالي ومن فوقي وأعوذ بعظمتك أن أغتال من تحتي. اللهم أنت خلقتني وأنت تهديني وأنت تطعمني وأنت تسقيني وأنت تميتني وأنت تحييني وأنت على كل شيء قدير. أمسينا على فطرة الإسلام وعلى كلمة الإخلاص وعلى دين نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم وعلى ملة أبينا إبراهيم حنيفا مسلما وما كان من المشركين. اللهم بك أمسينا وبك أصبحنا وبك نحيا وبك نموت وعليك نتوكل وإليك المصير. أمسينا وأمسى الملك لله والحمد لله رب العالمين. اللهم إني أسألك خير هذه الليلة فتحها ونصرها ونورها وبركتها وهداها. اللهم إني أسألك خير هذه الليلة وخير ما فيها وخير ما قبلها وخير ما بعدها وأعوذ بك من شر هذه الليلة وشر ما فيها وشر ما قبلها وشر ما بعدها. اللهم ما أمسى بي من نعمة أو بأحد من خلقك فمنك وحدك لا شريك لك فلك الحمد ولك الشكر على ذلك. سبحان الله وبحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. سبحان الله وبحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. سبحان الله وبحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه
ومداد كلماته. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. اللهم لك صمت على رزقك أفطرت. So it's time in Sharon. It's already sunset. For those who are in different places, please check your local timing.
Allahu Ekber, Allahu Ekber. Allahu Ekber, Allahu Ekber. Eşhedü en la ilahe illallah. Eşhedü en la ilahe illallah. Eşhedü enne Muhammeden Resulullah. Eşhedü enne Muhammeden Resulullah. Hayye alassalah. Hayye alassalah. Hayye alel felah. Hayye alel felah. Allahu Ekber, Allahu Ekber. La ilahe illallah. Esselamu Aleyküm ve Rahmetullahi ve Berekatuhu.
Aslıcığım.